think even if I stayed, you'd want this guy. Because he's retired.
We're trading, huh?
Easily. My wife would tell you that. But
I haven't responded. I keep getting down to it, and then I was like,
is that for Mark?
Okay, let's call the Tuesday, September 24th meeting to order. I'll start off with roll call to my left. Thank you.
Brian Schwan, council member.
Caroline Hale, council member.
Troy Tabor, council member.
Ben Lawrence, Mayor.
Clark C.R. Nelson, council member.
Greg Schneider, council member.
Mike Warrington, council member.
Mike Keller, police chief.
Donna Davis, chief financial officer.
Andy Seville, assistant fire chief.
Sure.
J.T. Klaus, city attorney.
Les Mangus, director, public works.
Susan Renner, city clerk.
Jennifer McCausland, city administrator.
Item number 3 is invocation. I believe we have, is David here? Oh, right there in front, sorry. With Epic Church. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Would you join me in prayer? Father in heaven, we are just humbled to be here tonight, to be a part of your work. God, you have given that all the servants that are here be here, and God, you have placed them here for our good. And so, God, we lift up this city council as they meet tonight and all of the business they bring before. God, we just pray that you would give us wisdom to see your will, that you would give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hearts that are open to the leading of your Spirit. And in all things, God, we pray that you are glorified. Thank you for each of the members here. God, I pray for their well-being, their health, and in everything they do, God, I pray that you bless them. And I ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Will you stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right there.
I'm Stronger than you think.
You beat that chair up.
All right, item number 5 is the public forum. Is there anyone here that wishes to address the council? Seeing none, I will close the public forum and move on to the acceptance of the agenda. Am I correct? I'm not seeing anything additional this evening?
No additional items.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by CR, second by Brian to accept the agenda as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7 is the consent agenda, items 7.1 through 7.8. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Troy, second by Caroline to approve the consent agenda as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8. I guess we have new owners of Timbuktu. It's going to require them to get their own cereal malt beverage license. Are they here this evening? Come on up. Introduce yourself.
My name's Rodney Ballens.
Taking over a great institution.
That's right.
Yeah, you have a legacy there you're going to have to really work hard for.
It's a
So,
responsibility, right?
right.
Yeah.
So your intention is just to sell beer still?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we have before us is a new cereal malt beverage license. Would go and your new ownership takes effective October 1st?
October 1, yes.
Yeah, a couple short weeks. So we're sorry to see the sales go. I know they're hanging around in the community, but it's a time-consuming task to own a bar or a restaurant. So we wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We do need a motion to approve that.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the request for CMB license for Timbuktu at 1251 North Andover Road under the new ownership effective October 1st, 2019.
Second?
Motion by Caroline, second by CR to approve the CMB license as presented. Further discussion.
I just have a comment. Please email me because I have some ideas that could possibly help you
Great.
with your marketing.
Great.
So we have a lot of sporting events that happen in this town, and I noticed that after some of these events, no one's there. So, I'm sure there's a way we can, the public can help you. So I would like to see that place busy
I would too.
after football and baseball and other games that happen. So,
Yeah, I'll take you up on that.
okay.
I'll email you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Go on to item number 9, which is the financial advisor agreement. Piper Jaffray & Co.
Mr. Mayor and Council, we have before you tonight an agreement with Piper Jaffray. They are working with us on 3 bond issues you'll vote on later tonight on this agenda, as well as work on an issue we'll do in early 2020. So they've been working on these bond issues for almost 2 years now. And so the agreement before you tonight is just designating that relationship for the 3 sales that'll happen on tonight's votes, as well as that one in first quarter of 2020. Dustin Navy is here. He'll speak to you when we get to the portion of the agenda on the actual bond issues, but if you have questions about the agreement, he could answer those as well.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the Municipal Financial Advisory Service Agreement with Piper Jaffray and Company for the Series A 2019 General Obligation Refunding and Improvement Bonds, the Series B 2019 General Obligation Tax Increment Financial Bonds, the Series A 2019 General Obligation Temporary Notes, and Series A 2020 General Obligation Bonds.
Second?
All right, motion by Greg, second by CR to approve the financial advisor agreement as presented. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, the Heritage.
We have several items tonight on the Heritage. Les is going to speak to you first about 10.1, but you will get through several different items as we approve work on the Heritage. So I'll let you start with the plan unit development.
As you all know, this project has been in planning for 2 or 3 years now, and we're happy to present you with the first final plat for the residential portion of the project. We've received the developer's agreement sometime back and the letter of credit, and now we're here to ask you to accept the dedications on the final PUD plan plat. Mr. Mayor, I would move to accept the dedications for the Heritage First Edition Final Planned Unit Development Plan as approved by the Planning Commission.
Second.
Motion by CR, second by Troy to approve the final PUD as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 10.2, the petitions.
Before you tonight, you have 7 total petitions, and I believe, unless JT corrects me, I believe you can take care of all of these in one motion. These are for both 1A and 1B, and you'll notice there's 4 on 1A and 3 on 1B. That 1A also includes some alley improvements.
Mr. Mayor,
Go on.
make a motion to accept the petition submitted by the developer for the following improvements within Heritage Development Phase 1A: alley improvements, sanitary sewer improvements, water improvement, and paving improvements, and further accept petitions submitted by developer for the following improvements within Heritage Development Phase 1B: sanitary sewer improvements, water improvements, and paving improvements.
Second?
Motion by Troy, second by CR to accept the petitions as you mentioned and presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 10.3.
This is your resolution of advisability, and as is customary, we accept the resolution of advisability first, and then in a second motion, you will follow that up with a work ordinance that will authorize the work to be done in Phase 1A and 1B of the Heritage.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the resolution of advisability, providing authorization for certain internal improvements within Heritage Phase 1A and 1B, and further providing financing in the form of general obligation temporary notes and general obligation bonds.
Second?
Motion by Greg, second by CR to approve the resolution of advisability as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 10.4 is the aforementioned work ordinance authorizing certain internal improvements. Is there a motion to approve that?
So move.
Second.
Motion by CR, second by Caroline to approve the work ordinance as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 10.5, the contract with MKEC for engineering.
Yes, and you will see there are 2 motions here. The first one is going to be for, again, that Phase 1A, 1B, the work for MKEC Engineering to engage in that work. And then the second motion that follows that is one for the TIF projects. And so that's why there are 2 separate motions there.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the engineering contract with MKEC Engineering for professional engineering services related to the Heritage Development Phase 1A and 1B.
Second.
Motion by CR, second by Mike to approve the NKEC engineering contract for Phase 1 as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 10.6.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the engineering contract with MKEC Engineering for professional engineering services related to Phase 1 of the Heritage Tax Increment Financing District.
Second.
Motion by CR, second by Mike to approve the engineering contract with MKEC for the TIF project. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor,
Good
I
luck to
would
you,
mention,
gentlemen.
and I was going to say, the developers are here, and so it's been a lot of work to get to a seemingly anticlimactic ending in the meeting, but that was a lot of important work that was just done. So I don't know if they have anything they want to say, but I wanted to notice that they were here.
3.5 years later?
Excited to get started.
Excellent. Item 11, main trafficway ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, before you tonight's an ordinance that's going to designate 159th Street as a main trafficway. My understanding is this is necessary in order to issue debt for the upcoming 159th Street project. If you have technical questions further than that, I'm going to allow our city attorney to answer those, but that is the reason that this is on your agenda tonight.
Questions?
Have we already taken control of that? We've already declared it as part of the city, but now we're just going to be designating it that it's a main thoroughfare type street? Is that the difference? Because I thought we had
You're
already,
reaching, I'm going to let you.
because I know that it's right there on county line, and that's the big issue.
It is a state project for which there is a total project cost of $3,376,893. The city's agreed, as I understand it, and Les can explain this further, that your responsibility for that is $2.2 million. They would like to issue that $2.2 million as part of the 2019 Series A bonds that you'll consider next. In order to do that, we have to have some statutory authority for spending that money and for issuing those bonds. And the only one that's readily available for road improvements is you are allowed to issue GO bonds for the improvement of main traffic ways. 159th Street looked and smelled like a main traffic way to me.
Okay.
So it seemed like the easiest way to finance that $2.2 million was to designate it a main traffic way, which is why this item is on your agenda before the authorization to issue bonds. Staff did look at the potential for using your sales tax monies to pay this without issuing debt. However, there are completion portions of like the Backage Road and the Heritage projects and other things that will be much, much harder to issue debt for, and that I think you might wince or wrinkle your nose when I told you you had to designate the Backage Road a main traffic way through the city. And so staff felt it best that we finance what is a main traffic way, what is obvious a main traffic way, which money we're expecting to need as early as November, and so that's why the decision was made to move this forward.
Well, that makes good sense. I just wanted some clarification, because we had already declared that we were maintaining that street, correct? So now we're just now declaring it.
That's one of the few places that the entire roadway on 159th Street is annexed in the city of Andover, even though half of the roadway is in Sedgwick County.
Right. Well, what about this section that goes from Central to Kellogg? Is that now
Not-
going to be ours too, or is that?
Not yet, but it will be soon.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted some clarification. I would make a motion to approve the ordinance designating 159th Street as a main traffic way within the city of Andover, Kansas.
Second.
Motion by Caroline, second by Brian to approve the ordinance as presented. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 12, temp note Series A. Have a resolution.
And we'll have Dustin Avey go ahead and come forward with Piper Jaffrey to take care of this item.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Dustin A. with Piper Jaffrey. Great to be here again. As Jenny alluded to and discussed with JT, discussed by JT as well, there's a number of issues coming up on the agenda. One related to the temporary notes for several projects, and the other related to a couple different bond issues. Obviously, when you're looking at three different issues, there's a lot of paperwork and numbers to review. I think that'd be most diligence to provide you a summary, which is in your packet this evening, which summarizes all three issuances, as well as thought you'd be interested in a really interest rate update. And as many of you may be aware, interest rates are at all-time lows once again, which is very favorable when considering financing bond projects over a longer period of time. So I thought there's a couple of straight charts in that packet too that you may find informative and useful as well. From a summary perspective, again, won't take a whole lot of your time this evening. The first item on the agenda is the temporary notes. The temporary notes estimated par amounts of $3,840,000. Projects include Prairie Creek 4th and 5th, Flint Hills Phase 6, and the Heritage 1st, all of which have been approved by the city. The temp notes will be issued for a 3-year term, callable after 1 year. So just like many other temp notes we have issued, there may be a situation within a year we'll be calling a portion of those temporary notes and converting those to bonds for special assessment purposes. The estimated rate on a conservative basis is 2.25% on the notes. So I can pause there and allow you to take action on that if you prefer, and discuss the bonds next.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve sale resolution for Series A 2019 General Obligation Temporary Notes in the amount of $3,840,000 and authorize Piper Jaffray and Company to market such notes for public sale.
Second?
Motion by Greg, second by CR to approve the Series A 2019 note sale resolution as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 13.
Bonds, the Series 2019 bonds. Several projects, obviously one related to the 159th Street project that was just approved, $2.2 million financed over a 20-year period. Again, sales tax will be a source of repayment used for those bonds. The other portion is the Yorktown project. The Yorktown project was originally financed with the 2018 temporary notes. As you're well aware, that project has been completed under what original estimates. We originally estimated, I believe, $3.5 million for that project. The actual project came in under budget, and so therefore we're only bonding for the actual project costs related to Yorktown. Again, 20-year bonds supported by a sales tax. And then the third component, obviously, just as a result of interest rates, obviously we're reviewing outstanding bonds of the city. There is a refinancing opportunity which exists with refinancing the 2013 bonds. The term of the bonds is not changing. It really just is substituting out old interest rates with new interest rates. And as a result of that, reducing the interest cost paid by the city. Estimated savings is a little less than $300,000. From a mechanical perspective, from an evaluation perspective, typically we look at refinancings when we exceed 3% present value savings. As you can see, we're over 8% present value savings, so we exceed kind of an industry threshold for considering refinancings. Again, the average rate on the existing bonds is 3.83%, which again, historically speaking, is still very, very good. We just happen to be at all-time lows, which current estimates are 2.48% on the refinancing component of those bonds. Again, 2.75% is what the estimate is on a conservative basis. We just completed the bond sale earlier this week. Rates were closer to 2.25% on a 20-year basis.
What's your pleasure? Sounds like a good deal to me.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the sale resolution authorizing the sale of $3,655,000 in Series B tax increment financing general obligation bonds and authorizing Piper Jaffray to market such bonds.
He just did 13.2 first.
Yes, sir.
And that's fine.
Okay.
Oh,
We can do that.
We're on
That's all right. We can do that.
we were on 13-1.
That's okay, but you made a motion on 13.2,
second
and we
his
gotta
motion.
do it anyway, so.
Sorry about that.
We're in good shape.
You know, I was so impressed.
The interest rates are just too good to be true, right? Yeah.
All right, so we got a motion by CR, second by Troy to approve item 13.2, which is the Geo Bond Series B 2019 resolution as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I'm going to try 13.1 this time.
There you go.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve general obligation bond sale resolution authorizing Piper Jaffray and Company to market general obligation refunding and improvement bonds in the amount of $7,700,000.
Second.
A motion by CR and a second by Mike to approve the Geo Bond Series A 2019 sale resolution as presented. Further discussion? In favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll have our city clerk make note of, we switch those around, so when you're reviewing your, writing your minutes, you'll have them straight.
Mr. Mayor, I'm ready to go to 12.1 now.
All right, I think we are on to item 14, Teradyne 3rd edition, and for this, I am going to step off the bench, Mr. President. If you could handle that, that'd be great.
Thank you. Item 14.1, Teradyne 3rd edition, the developers agreement. Do you want to tell us what you know, if anything, about this, Les?
Certainly. The first item here is the developers agreement, which is simply a change in the way the property was titled from a corporate ownership to a personal ownership. Nothing in the developers agreement has changed other than that ownership.
Okay.
Mr. President, I move to approve the revised developers agreement with financial guarantee for the Teradyne 3rd additional sanitary sewer extension.
Motion by Greg. We have a second.
Second.
We got a motion by Greg, second by Caroline, to approve the developers agreement as presented. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.2, sanitary sewer petition and plan. Yes, Les?
You remember a few weeks ago, we took bids on the sewer project, and all the bids came in over the engineer's estimate and the petition cost. So we instructed the engineer to make some changes to the plan. He's done that and provided a new engineer's estimate. The new petition reflects that new engineer's estimated cost.
All right. Any questions on this one?
Mr. President,
Yes.
make a motion to accept the revised plans and petition for the Teradyne 3rd edition sanitary sewer extension and authorize staff to negotiate a price with Meades Construction for the sewer project for consideration at the October 8th, 2019 meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Troy, a second by Caroline, to accept the sanitary petition and plan as presented. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.3, amended resolution of advisability.
This amended resolution simply reflects that change in the cost of the project.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the amended resolution of advisability related to Teradyne 3 3rd sanitary sewer improvements and further authorize a method of assessment for such benefit district financing said improvements.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second to accept the amended resolution of advisability. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.4.
This is just the amended work ordinance that reflects that change in cost also.
I might state that the previous motion was Greg's motion, and Brian seconded the motion.
Mr. President, I move to adopt an ordinance amending Ordinance 1696 of the City of Andover, Kansas.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Caroline and a second by Troy on the amended work ordinance as presented. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Nice going there, guys.
Thank you. We will move on to item 15, which is Prairie Creek 4th edition.
Mr. Mayor and Council, tonight you're going to have 3 sets of plans in your packet for approval for going out for bidding. First one you have here is Prairie Creek 4th. You'll have Prairie Creek 5th for street improvements, and then you will have 13th Street improvements. 13th Street improvements is kicked in because of Prairie Creek 4th. We're requiring, as you guys probably remember, I wasn't a part of that, but there was a long process getting to the point where we had a valid petition to extend out to the edge of the Prairie Creek addition once 4th was put in. We're in the process of putting in 4th, so their 4th, you'll see one later for 13th. But this item is accepting the plans and authorizing the bidding of the improvements for Prairie Creek 4th phase.
Questions?
Mr. Mayor, I move to accept the plans and authorize the bidding of the street improvements for Prairie Creek 4th phase.
Second?
Motion by Greg, second by CR to approve, to accept the plan and authorize the bids for Prairie Creek 4th edition. Street improvements. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 16, Prairie Creek 5th edition.
Mr. Mayor and Council, we do have a revised developers agreement for Prairie Creek 5th, and that was because of that change in the petition from 42,500 to 65,500. So the revised developers agreement, and we have received letters of credit for this developers agreement.
Mr. Mayor?
Troy?
Yeah, I like reading apparently. I'd like to make a motion to approve the revised developers agreement between the City of Andover, Kansas and Prairie Creek Homes LLC, reflecting an increase in the cost of water improvements in Prairie Creek 5th phase and further reflecting an amended letter of credit reflecting an increase in guarantee for water improvements and resulting special assessments from $42,500 to $65,500.
Second.
Motion by Troy and second by Caroline to approve the revised developers agreement as presented. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 16.2. Any revised petitions for water then? Water improvements?
Well, as you'll recall, I believe it's at the last meeting, we had a water bids were exceeded the developer's petition limits and the engineer's estimate, so we tabled that action. It's item 16.4 in front of you tonight. This is another item that has to be done. If you remember, we've had this happen a few times here recently. We've had to redo the developer's petitions, the developer's agreement to petitions, and the I guess the resolution of advisability and work ordinance too.
And I think that we have a little bit of an error. I'll take the responsibility. I think we really should do the water and sewer bid award last, JT, and do the work ordinance and the amended resolution in front of that. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
So let's do 16.4 last, but the rest of these can go in order.
So what are you asking for now?
Excuse me. Well, we're asking for you to approve the amended petitions, the amended plan, or not the plan acceptance. Plan acceptance is, let me back up. Inside of this also is a plan acceptance for Prairie Creek 5th Street improvements.
Okay, but you want us to approve the revised petition for water improvements first?
Yes.
For Prairie Creek 5th?
And also the amended resolution of advisability 16.5 and 16.6 before you do 16.4.
I get that. Okay. So we're on 16.2, which is a water petition.
Correct.
Is there a motion to approve those revised petitions for water in Prairie Creek 5th?
So move.
So second.
Motion by CR, second by Caroline to approve the revised petition for water improvements in Prairie Creek 5th phase as presented. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we have the accepting of the plans and authorizing the bidding of street improvements for Prairie Creek 5th phase.
So move.
Second.
Motion by CR, second by Troy, to accept the plans and authorize the bidding of street improvements for Prairie Creek 5th phase as presented. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 16.5, we have amended resolution of advisability.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt a resolution amending Resolution 19-12 of the City of Andover related to Prairie Creek 5 water improvements and further authorize the method of assessment for such benefit, district financing said improvements.
Second.
Motion by Greg, second by Troy to approve the amended resolution of advisability as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll handle 16.6, which will be the work ordinance. Anybody?
Mayor, I would move to adopt an ordinance amending Ordinance 1717 of the City of Andover, Kansas.
Second.
All right, we'll go CR with the motion and Greg with the second to approve the work ordinance as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will jump back up to item 16.4, which is going to be renamed something, concerning the water and sewer bid award. Did you have something to add to that?
Not much else than what I've already stated. Is as we've had happen on the previous water bids, they came in high. We've now passed all the requirements to accept the bids as they are and authorize the work.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to accept the low bid from Neese Construction of Wichita, Kansas for water line and sanitary sewer extensions in Prairie Creek 5th Phase in an amount not to exceed $176,597 and authorize the mayor to sign such contract.
Motion by CR and a second by Mike to award the water and sewer bids as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will now jump back down to item 17, which is the 13th Street project. We have plan acceptance and authorization to bid is being requested this evening.
Correct. This is going to be about 1,200 linear feet or so of 13th Street to extend it to the edge of the Prairie Creek overall subdivision as
Going
required. I'm sorry?
Going east, right?
Correct.
Okay.
The far east side.
Yes, the very edge of 13th of the edge of east side of Prairie Creek's addition. This is all these three projects, the two that you previously authorized for bidding, and this one will be tied together to hopefully obtain a low bid.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to accept the plans and authorize the bidding of 13th Street improvements as presented.
Second.
Motion by CR, second by Troy to accept the plans and authorize the taking of bids for 13th Street improvements. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 18. We have a purchase requested by 911.
Mr. Mayor, in your packet, you'll find some information on the schematics of the net clock. The purpose of a net clock for a communication center is to tie all the time stamps into one. Currently, all of our systems that we use on our radio or 911 phones, CAD, voice pagers, are all on crystallized clocks within those computers, and over just a matter of seconds, those times drift apart. So none of our times in the dispatch center are accurate timestamps, which causes an issue when we're looking for accuracy, legal requirements whenever we have to submit recordings and responders' times. My request is to purchase a net clock that will also include the implementation and installation, with the fees being paid from the 911 tax funds, and then a yearly maintenance cost of, I believe it was $900, a little over $900 a year that will also be paid out of the 911 fees.
What we expect, especially in that department, we want our data to be correct. You have anything to add, Chief?
Absolutely, and the big piece of this is I believe it'll sync our times up with with Butler County's times. That'll be a big plus.
There seem to be some disparities there. Caroline?
I was just going to say I would move that we authorize the communications director to purchase the NetClock GPS time server master clock from Rocky Mountain Wireless Solutions to include clock supporting equipment installation and support package for $10,220.38 with all expenses being paid from the E-911 fund tax.
Second.
All right, motion by Caroline and a second by Brian to approve the net clock purchase as presented. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Why jamming that one through fast, didn't I? I think we're down to member items. Brian, you want to start us off?
I got one thing. I'm getting a lot of people asking where buttons can be purchased for GAD. Because last year we had, Walgreens and places, and they said they couldn't get them at Walgreens. So
Chamber has a lot of them, don't you?
What, buttons?
Yeah.
We have buttons.
Walgreens was unable to put them into their register this year for whatever reason, so that is a glaring miss. But I believe all other past button sales locations are still in effect, and they are on the website. It is on the website.
It's okay. That's all I have.
Yeah, that was all I was going to say, GAD week, so looking forward to all the festivities this week. And I know that I needed to check to see where you might need some volunteer help still. So it's Saturday, like I really want to be around for the 1:30 for Thor's Memorial, so maybe something you can use some volunteer around that time.
We've got some eating contests right following that, so if you're interested
So
in
have them
judging,
let
we
me
can have
know
you
and
help with that.
I'll fill in. So watermelon or whatever it is. So
And hot dog gifts.
2 o'clock-ish, is that it?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, I'll be there.
Troy?
She is still looking for help.
Yeah, a couple quick things about GAD. One is Saturday night is the tailgate party, and my little Friday, I keep saying that. Friday night is the tailgate party, and the last couple of years have done pretty well and won a couple awards, and we hope to do so again. So we hope to see like thousands of people out there, which we've never got that many, but it would be nice to have thousands of people out there. Also, the Chamber is putting on a forum this Saturday afternoon. It is a forum for candidates, and so it'll have mayor candidates and city council candidates where we'll talk about ourselves and what we look forward to doing, as well as questions from the audience, which is always the best part. When you have people asking those that are here or those that are running what they stand for. So that'll be really nice to have.
What's that, 2 o'clock?
2
Yeah.
o'clock. You're doing school board candidates too, right?
Yes, it's all the local kind of
No,
candidates.
they're not coming?
One school board candidate?
One school board.
That makes sense.
Okay, that's fine.
Do they actually, that's the only one that is actually a race, I take it?
There was one race, but only one of the candidates is coming.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it would be nice if everyone.
One-sided
participated.
conversation.
I know, very one-sided. All the questions will be directly directed to them. Yeah, so there's a lot of great things going with Greater Andover Days this year, and I hope to see everybody in our lovely city there. That's all I got.
Sure.
Yes, either one or two items, I'm not sure which. First item is the intersection of Harry and Andover Road. I know that Les and others and engineers are working. There have been a number of accidents at that specific location, more than there should be. You all did a nice job of moving a sign that I had suggested be moved. I don't know that it's going to be all that helpful, but I want the public to know that we're working on that, trying to find some type of resolution. If you have anything, Les?
The traffic engineer should have put down the traffic counter tubes today to get a good accurate count on traffic in that area. We've received the 3-year accident history from the police department, taken a look at those, and probably the eastbound left turn to northbound Andover Road is the most frequent accident, but really accidents are from a number of causes at that intersection. It's not like there is just one glaring problem, but we'll collect all the information, and the traffic engineer will look at all of the warrants for a traffic signal, and we'll be back to you with a report within about a month.
Mark, I know when I pull up that street, I have to pull pretty darn far forward before I can see what's coming from the left side.
I agree,
Yeah.
on both sides of Harry. You can't see much.
That's my neighborhood right there on the east side, and I see a lot of, I mean, traffic's backed up, waiting for traffic to come by. I mean, it's almost a near miss when I see people pull out. So even though the traffic comes back and says, you know, we don't have as many accidents, there's a lot of very near misses that happen at that intersection that I see. So I would be supportive for a traffic light if that's what the report comes back as.
Okay, the other item had to do with Tuscany that we addressed at our workshop yesterday, and I'm hopeful that we can resolve those issues, unless I think the ball is in your court on that one as well. I appreciate what we've done trying to get something worked out there. That's all that I have.
Mike?
I had a question on one of the items earlier, but it wasn't on that item. But when we were talking about on 159th, main traffic ways, does that mean that that's an item that a road that we have to treat first in winter, now that it's considered a main traffic way?
No, it has nothing to do with emergency snow routes. To be clear, it's just simply a financing designation.
What other roads in town are considered main traffic ways?
I would have to go back and look and see what
Before as well, but
what roads you have designated main traffic ways. I'm sure you have many important arterials that are not designated main traffic ways because they were not financed that way. So, do you have a... We can get you the list of everything that's been officially designated a main traffic way. We just can't do it right now.
okay.
I'll get you the list.
There's no correlation between snow routes or what we have to treat or
No, and in
those
fact,
definitions.
and in fact, the biggest worry we've had for doing that over the years is that later on, if you wanted to make an improvement to that, someone would argue that they wouldn't want to sign a special assessment petition because there's no reason they should be special assessed for the special improvements on a main traffic way since it's really there for everybody else and not for them. And the Supreme Court has held that it doesn't change the character for purposes of special assessments, so you can still do special assessments on the main traffic way.
Sorry,
Were you done?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
thought you were. Back when we were talking about the candidate forum being on Saturday, September 28th, and I had said we are going to have overlapping things. So I'm assured then that at least is going to be televised for a candidate forum and then it'll run on our, okay. And
Yes.
hopefully we'll get some of those other candidates to show up so we all can find out something about people who are running? Or how's that going? Can you want to adjust that for us? Yes, thank you.
Right now, we have one city council candidate that's not going to be able to attend. The college has 2 races that Andover residents can vote for. None of them are coming. We have the mayor's race. Both candidates will be there for the mayor's race. So we've got 6 candidates for city council and the 2 for the mayor's race. And then one, Susan Devon, is coming for the school board.
But it will be running on the channel, so if we can't
Yes.
hear live, we can watch it later on.
Right, we're going to run it on there, and it's a moderated event. It's not going to be a free-for-all. So we will have somebody reviewing the questions before the moderator even gets them, so they're not asking, we don't want to get into personal attacks or anything like that, so.
So people in the audience can write a question?
Yes.
And then it'll get looked at and
Exactly.
be used? Okay.
Yep,
Sounds great.
yep.
I'll have to watch it on TV.
Okay, I would like to say congratulations to Jennifer. First meeting as city administrator. You did a fabulous job. Nobody died. Nobody got angry.
Success.
I didn't miss anything. No additional items on the agenda. We had to squeeze in at the last minute, so. And we're done before 8.
It's those executive sessions that mess us up.
You're doing the work at 2 now, and we know that, so we appreciate your efforts.
And I did post the assistant position today.
We have a position open. If you're interested in assistant city administrator, get your application in.
I did.
Staff have anything else?
I did also find, Mayor, the locations, just so that they are here on the record. Chamber of Commerce, Andover Senior Center, Andover State Bank, Casey's, Dillon's, Equity Bank, Holiday Inn Express, Intrust Bank, Ameritrust, Timbuktu, and Bicycle Peddler, which is located in Wichita. So a number of locations.
Pretty much any bank.
Are they still
Go to your bank, yeah.
Or is it more, are they still $3?
They are still $3 unless you don't buy them ahead of time, and then they come up to $5 when you're out in the park.
At the gate. Perfect. All right. Were you going to say something? Okay.
Saturday during GAD at 1 p.m. we're going to have a memorial tribute to Thor, our lost canine, here in the amphitheater, and we'll also be having a canine demonstration as a part of it.
Excellent. Fun. You have something?
I just don't want anybody to leave. I have a document that I need every one of you to sign tonight, please.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get out of here.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by CR, second by Brian. Further discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? We are adjourned.